presented by Underdog.
Whoa, whoa.
God, because we on the live anyway. My name is TJ Ward, and I'm subbing in for Kenzie as your host. Joining me today is one of the most prolific figures in the history of sports media, and the man who has never lost a debate, Skip Bayless.
Thank you, TJ.
Yeah. Our Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro cornerback, Aqib Talib.
Yeah, go Keep.
Fellas.
And the king of quarterback breakdowns and top 5 passer in the USC Trojan history, Cody Kessler.
Yeah, go Cody.
Go, Cody.
All right.
The little setup.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey.
All right. The Cowboys are reportedly looking to franchise tag George Pickens. How good will they be next season? The new Ravens offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle, challenged Lamar Jackson to show up to OTAs. We discuss how we think Lamar will get along with the young OC. And is it time for the Eagles to trade A.J. Brown? We debate if they should, and if so, where to. This episode is presented by Underdog. Underdog's available in most states, including Texas, California, and Florida. New customers get $75 bonus entries when they play. Just $5 to get started. Just use the code GRID when you sign up, and it'll load instantly. Underdog. Make picks, win money with code GRID. One of our favorite topics of conversation, Micah Parsons took shots at Skip on the Open Thoughts podcast with Funny Marco. Take a listen.
I tell people how it is. So what about people that don't be thinking like you think? And they just like, do you feel like
They're scared. They're scared to voice their opinions. Fuck them.
mm-hmm.
Like I tell you, like fuck Skip Bayless. Fuck all them. Like, I don't give a fuck.
That's
You don't give a fuck, Skip.
part of talking, it's communication.
Yeah, no, I just like they want to rage bait me, rage me. Like, but like they won't say that to my face. Like
I wouldn't. I'll talk shit behind your back
like
too.
you use Twitter finger at
I would be
motherfuckers.
the same thing.
They like fuck them. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, he'll give a fuck, Skip.
Hey.
I'm telling
Yeah. What was your reaction when you saw this clip?
So, look, you can say fuck Skip Bayless if you want, because you got to get in line for that one. I've been hearing that, 10,000 million times, and probably will hear it that many more times in the future. But when you call me a Twitter finger ass motherfucker and say that I'm afraid to say everything that I've said on Arena Gridiron or on X or on videos to your face, then you and I have a problem, and you're going to hear from me. And Micah heard the next day from me via a viral video in which I challenged him to meet me anywhere, anytime, any place, any show. Let's start with this show, Arena Gridiron. We would love to have him on. I brought up the fact that Aqib could sit next to him and hold his hand if he wants somebody to hold his hand, pat him on the back and tell him he's okay.
I'll be the referee, Skip.
And be the referee. And as I said, just last week, Draymond Green, who's been an adversary of mine for many, many years, even more than Micah has, asked me to be on his show, the Draymond Green Show, and I did it. And we sat for 2.5 hours in front of a live studio audience of a couple of hundred out here in LA. And they were all pro Draymond, so we had everybody on his side. And we went back and forth through all of our issues for 2.5 hours. And I got to tell you, I enjoyed it. It was productive. It was healthy. We got a lot accomplished. I think we got to know each other a lot better, and it really worked. And I would be happy to do it any way that Micah would want to do it. I could come on his show. I could come on Open Thoughts with Funny Marco. We could go home and home. We could go any way that you want to do it, because Micah also went on to say that first he said, "Why don't you come play my position, Skip?" Well, obviously I can't do that because very, very few people in the world can do that. But then he said, "And I can do, Skip, what you do, sometimes even better than you do it." Well, this is what we do. So, Micah, I challenge you again here on Arena Gridiron to come and sit with me eye to eye, man to man, seat to seat, and let's talk through it. And in my viral video yesterday, guys, I detailed my whole game plan. I just gave it away. I went through very quickly every last thing I've ever said issue-wise with Micah Parsons, good and bad. And I laid out the blueprint for how to beat me at my own game. So he would know exactly. There was one thing I did not say in this viral video that I would say to his face to ambush him or blindside him. Whatever it's going to be, it's there. He can just go back and take notes on the video and be ready to respond, because I'm definitely going to respond to him calling me afraid. Because if you guys remember, Akib got Aaron Donald on the show at the Super Bowl, and I figured he might bring up some of our distant past issues, and he did.
He did.
And it was fine. I am not afraid to back up my opinions face to face. So I don't know. I still think Micah hasn't grown up yet. I don't think he understands. I don't think he gets it. But that's just me. Akib, fire away. If you want to take issue with anything I took issue with Micah, be my guest.
Well, you ain't got to be afraid, Skip. I ain't gonna let nothing go left. I'll be there.
Yeah,
I ain't
you
gonna
would
let
be.
it go left, Skip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
As in throwing a left, or
I ain't gonna let none of it go left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a perfect peacemaker. You know what I'm saying? I'll make sure everything's straight. But honestly, Skip, I think he had the right to respond to you. You know what I'm saying? You've been on him. You've been on him all year. You know what
I
I'm saying?
understand.
Which is our job. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I say my opinion. Cody say his. Gerald said his. We all gave our opinion on everything, not just Micah Parsons. So if he wanted to respond the way he did respond, shit, he had the right to do it. That's how he felt. If he felt if he felt like fuck Skip Bayless, then hey, that's how he felt. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it says a lot about you though, Skip, because all these guys want to respond to you. You know what I'm saying? I never been, as a player, I never been one to want to respond to me. I'm just like, bro, in the media, bro, you can't do what I do. I kind of feel like Parsons. I ain't really worried about what you saying. You can't do what I do. You can critique me all you want. You can't come out here and do so. You know what I'm saying? So I never really responded to no media person because I ain't never really see fit. But I'm telling you, Skip, man, it goes to show you who the fuck Skip Bayless is. That hey, boys got to respond. They won't smoke with you, Skip. I even had Pistons coach, former NBA player Jared Jack called me like, man, what's up with Skip? Man, I'm defending you on the phone. I say, man, Skip a good dude. He entitled to his opinion, ain't it? Me and Jared went back for 30 minutes because I'm defending you, Skip. Like, bro.
Okay. By the way, I used to have Jared on the show way back in the First Take days.
He told me.
He did a bunch of shows with me.
He told me. So I mean, he was just like, man, I don't know, man. Skip calling him out his name, though. I say, shit, he called Skip the Twitter finger motherfucker.
He did.
So
he did.
I was defending you, Skip.
Thank you.
Skip paid his dues in the media so he can give his opinion about anything. And it go to show you how much people care, i.e. Michael Parsons, Aaron Donald, you feel me? Draymond Green. Bro, that show you right there that he respected, man. So, hey, it is what it is, man. Everybody to their opinion.
All right, Cody, your opinion.
Yeah, first of all, I would love to see this happen. It would be awesome to have Micah on the Arena Gridiron, or if Skip went and joined in for his podcast. Either way, I think you guys have to make this happen if Micah's willing to do it. With that being said, though, I do understand where Mike is coming from. To Akib's point, being a former player, there were times that I wanted to say, what
Yeah.
Mike just said, when I would see or hear, different media members talk about me and write these articles, it would be frustrating. And, I do understand, especially more so now being on this side of things, that the media has a job to do and you have a job to do. But there's also a human aspect to it as a player, to where you're still a person that when you see constant disrespect and negative things said about you, it's only human to respond a certain way. And that was the way that he wanted to respond. He has every right to do that. But I will say about you, Skip, something that I truly respect and I think separates you from a lot of media members, at least from my own experience, is that you're always going to stand 10 toes down. You really will. It doesn't matter who it is. You will say what you say on social media and television, but you also back it up in person and say it to their face. I dealt with a lot of media members, both in college and the NFL, that would try to be buddy-buddy and wanted to get you to trust them and build those relationships and be friendly so that you might share more information with them, during interviews and different things like that. And then they would be the first ones to turn around and go bash you on television or write an article talking about why you're not a great quarterback and why you're a bad player. You will say it to their face, regardless of who it is. When you said on your video, man to man, face to face, eye to eye, and you got up in the camera, I truly believe that you would do that. Yeah, given the opportunity. So they got to make it happen. I would love to see it. It would break the internet, at least for Cowboys fans. I'm sure Cowboys fans would love to see it. I would have my popcorn ready. It would be really cool if he joined us on the show and we could see it in person. I
agree. TJ, your thoughts?
Honestly, I saw your reply, Skip, before I saw Micah's video.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, right. I'm kicking back. I'm crying because I'm like, oh, somebody done made Skip mad. So I go look up what Micah said, but it's a competitive thing. We all in a competition somewhat, some way. But what I do appreciate you, Skip, is when you wrong, you'll come back and say, hey, I was wrong, and my opinion may change. Now, Micah, he got in his feelings a little bit. That was warranted because if anyone, is talking negative about me, whoever it is, I'm going to feel a certain way. That's just what it is. But he has the opportunity to change everyone's, or specifically your opinion about him through how he plays ball. And I'm sure he's going to take exception to everything he heard this season and transfer it into how he plays this year, regardless of if it's directly because of what you said or not. And if he comes out balling and does everything you say he can't do, I know you're going to be the first one to say, hey, I said this, I said that, and he's changed and he's done this and he's improved in this way. So, but I remember when it was a telecast talking bad about us going into the AFC Championship game. I didn't even know who wrote it, but I just read it and it got me upset. So when we got that win, I couldn't wait to shove it in that person's face. And I think it was just like a Tom Brady telecast or some shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? I was upset, and it literally motivated me to get, I don't even know how much it did, but it was something from that article that made me, react. And
did you rub it back in somebody's face? Did you find
absolutely. him? I couldn't find the writer. It may have just been a blog. But even what Aaron Donald said, like little shit that irk us being in the back of our mind. In the back of our mind, and whoever it is, we can't wait to prove them wrong. And that's what I love about sports. That's why I love about our debate shows. These panels is because you have the opportunity to prove with facts, with performance, with everything else, you're right, you're wrong, and you have the opportunity to change it. So all right. I respect it. I respect it both ways. So
so quick point of order. Back in my straight newspaper days, going way back into the 80s and early 90s, when I was just a newspaper columnist, I did radio in Dallas, but I didn't have a regular TV gig. I was doing a lot of things for ESPN. But the point was, I found that if I had an issue with a Dallas Cowboy or with anybody in any sport, the Dallas Mavericks, Texas Rangers, that if I'd always be around the locker room, and if somebody had an issue, if you wound up going back and forth in front of the guys in the locker room, in front of the other players, it was a bad setting because both of us are on stage where your pride gets in the way, your macho gets in the way. The player's got to show he's big, bad, he's going to step on this little reporter in front of his teammates. And it never was, productive. We didn't get anywhere. It just made both of us matter. And it poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning, so we didn't need that. And so what I found was that if I had them come on the radio, which I did all the time, if you have an issue, let's do it on the radio, where thousands, millions, I don't know how many people could hear it. And we both have sort of equal audience on our sides, where you could just go back and forth, and we'd have an actual real life conversation that
Right.
that wouldn't get screwed up
Yeah.
because of macho pride in front of you. You know, you guys got to be tough in front of your teammates. It would be actual eye to eye, man to man. And then the more I got into TV, the breakthrough was, this is back in, I don't know, 2009. He was then Chad Ochocinco. I guess he still is Chad Ochocinco, but Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, he and I were going back and forth. He was a Bengal, and we got to a place where he wanted me to come to Cincinnati. It was right before the start of the 2009 football season, and actually go face to face on television. And we set it up in the visitors' locker room, and we went for, I don't know, this is the early days of First Take. I don't know, we went for 2 hours, and some of it we just talked football, just about the NFL, but a lot of it was he and I going back and forth. And it was, I got to tell you, it was really good, because I didn't pull back, but we didn't, you know, as I always used to say about First Take, no punches pulled, but none thrown. It never went over the edge into screaming at each other. It didn't get personal. We had a really good talk, and then Chad and I became buddies after that. And he
Right.
came on First Take a bunch of times. So my point to you is that this is really good. And like what Draymond and I did, I would recommend for anybody to go watch it. It's long, but you can see how we hashed it out, how we got to an understanding of, oh, that's why you said, yeah, and that's why you shouldn't have done, yeah, okay. And you go back and forth within 5 feet of each other, and you can actually get someplace without screaming, yelling, F-bombing, MFing. And so I would love for Micah to come sit with us in the group, because I just think it'd be good for everybody. It'd be good for me, and I definitely think it'd be good for Micah.
Right. I agree. I agree. He just got to understand that it's just an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
everybody's not going to like you as a player. Everybody's not going to like what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody is entitled to their opinion. Some people opinions hold a little bit more weight, like Skip's do. You know what I'm saying? So that's, if Joe Blow would have said it, Parsons wouldn't give a fuck what he said. But it's just the fact that Skip, his opinion hold weight, and Skip the one who said it, so that shit piss him off. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. You just got to understand that in this business, bro. Hey, you got the players and you got the media, and the media gonna sit on TV. They gonna get in the papers, the radio. They gonna say their opinion on whatever they want, bro. It is what it is. And half the time they might really believe that opinion. Half the time they might just be saying that opinion, just like sometimes I might say some shit just to go against Skip. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to play heads with Skip today. So what I'm saying, I don't even really feel like that. I might see him like, hey, I ain't really mean that shit, bro. I just want to go against Skip. You know what I'm saying? So we just hanging, baby. You know what I'm saying? We just chill, Micah. Just chill, baby. It's just entertainment.
It is entertainment. He got to understand that too. But you know, you bring something up, Skip, when you said that once you get to hashing and clearing the air, you find out a lot of these reasons why you button heads, because you got the same personalities.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, you got friction with people, like Lee like to say.
Yeah.
It turned out to be one of your best friends, because y'all had friction for a certain reason. It's like, hey, we just the same. Now, this is my best dog. So it'd be like that.
Yeah. Like, to your point, TJ, with Draymond and Draymond can, as you guys know, on the basketball court, he just loses it sometimes, and just loses mind, loses where he is. and yet my point to him, I've called him the dirtiest player in the history of basketball, because I could just go on YouTube and look at a compilation of all of Draymond's cheap shots, and you'll just sit back and say, "What are you thinking, man? Like, what are you doing?" Because you know he's kicking guys in the nuts. He's popping LeBron in the nuts with his fist. He's swirling and smashing Nurkic in the face. He's choking Gobert. He's stomping on Sabonis. You know, it's just like one thing. You just watch him. If you watch him all at once, you say, well, you're so much better than all that. But the point I was making to him, the redeeming value of Draymond Green is he's got 4 championship rings because he was the guts and the glue of a finesse basketball team with 2 great shooters that they desperately needed, to the point that Steve Kerr always says about Draymond, I wouldn't have 4 rings without Draymond Green. Well, as Akib always says, you got the chip. Yeah, he's got 4 chips. He doesn't have 1 or 2. He's got 4. So something was right about what he was doing. But Draymond, after we talked for a long time, he said to me, you know, the truth is you and I are a lot alike. And we are, because as Draymond said about me, I'll quote him. He says, you don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about you or what you say about anybody else. I don't, as long as I believe it.
Right.
And everything I've said about Micah, I believe. And Draymond doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about him. He just plays basketball as kind of an overachiever. He was a 2nd-round pick who stayed all 4 years at Michigan State. And he had to scratch and claw to get to where he is in the NBA. Well, you want to talk about coming from nowhere to everywhere. He did that. He pulled it off. So I'm very complimentary of him. And yet he said the truth is we're both coming from a lot of the same places, sort of psychologically, and we are. So that's why Micah, you know, and you guys, I don't want to rehash everything we've talked about, but obviously I was a big fan of his for about a year in Dallas because he had a great first year before people figured out exactly how to deal with him. And then, as you guys have heard from me 1,000 times, my problem was that I watched him play 4 playoff games in Dallas, and I got to tell you, mostly no-showed in all 4 of them, except for the one that they won against Tom Brady at age 45, the 8 and 9 Tampa Bay Bucks, just on Brady's swan song game. It was 31-14 Dallas, and Micah sacked Tom Brady with less than a minute left. That was the only sack he had in 4 playoff games for my Dallas Cowboys. And the other 3, he just completely no-showed in, which I still can't figure out. And the 4th and final was, ironically, against his now Green Bay Packers. He was obviously a Cowboy. And across the board, he had no stats in that game. He had no sacks, no hits on the quarterback, no pressures, no tackles, no assisted. He had nothing. He had zeros across the board, and they were down 27-0 before halftime. Well, I only say what I see, and I couldn't see anything from Micah Parsons, and they did become a liability against the run, and Jerry Jones said that the day they traded him, that in the big press conference, he said, well, he just wasn't good against the run. And a couple of his veteran teammates, Malik Hooker and DeMarcus Lawrence, took him to task publicly because he seemed to prioritize his podcast over his football. And you know, I'm repeating what they're saying. So I don't know. I'd love to talk about all of the above with Micah any day, anytime on this show or any show.
I don't know. I don't know if we get that done with Micah though. I don't know if he's there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know if he's ready to do that yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's with Draymond. I could see Draymond doing that. Draymond, he done made amends with Brian, and
it's true. No, he did.
He done turned that corner. I don't know if
he did
yet.
Yeah. Okay. So, Keep, do you think does he need to grow up a little more? Does he need to mature a little more? Does he need to figure it out a little more?
Nah, I'm not saying he need to mature. None of that. Just whenever he get there and want to hash it out with you, that may never happen. You know what I'm saying? He might not.
Yeah.
He might just feel how he said, "Fuck Skip, bro. I'm not worried about Skip."
Maybe.
You know I got hurt. I had 12 and a half, 13, whatever he had. I got big dog double-digit sacks already. So he may never be worried about it. I ain't saying he need to grow up or nothing. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
just right now where he at, where I see him from the outside looking in, he just ain't ready to do that right now. You know what I'm saying? So man, look, I think on the field, as you keep playing, he's still young. As you keep playing and you keep playing, once you get to year 7, 8, 9, them your prime years. He ain't even touched his prime yet to me. So them gonna be the years that he played for a Super Bowl team, and in those 4 playoff games, he had 5 sacks, and he gonna have his time where he run it up. And then it just be about, I got this many playoff games and this many playoff sacks, and he gonna have his time. But man, he's just young, man. He young. He a hell of a player in my eyes.
Okay. Let me, real quick before you go, TJ, let me remind everybody, this was just less than a year ago. DeMarcus Lawrence went to the Seahawks, and he got interviewed the first day he was in Seattle. And he said, Dallas is home and will forever be home, but I know for sure I'm never going to win a Super Bowl there. And Micah immediately tweeted at DeMarcus, this some clown shit. This is what rejection and envy look like. And then DeMarcus Lawrence tweeted right back at Micah, maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left. And obviously DeMarcus Lawrence just backed it up and is now the proud possessor of a championship ring. So that kept happening with teammates in Dallas saying, no, your priorities are backward. You want to do too many podcasts. You want to do too much tweeting. And one quick point was that on the show that we're talking about, the Open Thoughts show, when Funny Marco asked him to Micah, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? He said, well, I see myself having graduated from culinary school, which I didn't know he wanted to be a chef, but that's what he said, and that he would be becoming a chef. And I'm thinking, if I'd ask any of you guys at a certain level, what are you going to be doing in 5 years while you're playing football? You'd say, well, I hope to have a couple of championships, right? I mean, that would be your priority. And Micah's priority is to go to cooking school. I don't know that.
He also said coaching. He also said coaching kids in high school or something.
Okay. All right. So,
but you're right. He ain't saying nothing about a chip.
I feel you, Skip, man. I said that numerous times. It's like you too focused on other things.
Yeah.
Like your own entertaining podcast. I get it. Get your feelings out tweeting. But I mean, Funny Marco, he's a comedian.
He is. Yeah.
Realm. He like, why are you even on there? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think you got bigger fish to fry. And you left Dallas too. I mean, you got traded, but you still out of Dallas. So Torrance comments, I just feel like certain things shouldn't get to you as heavy as they might, or at least as a man, I'm not going to reply to everything. Like something
exactly
keep going.
All right.
But
okay. And my final point about Micah Parsons is that he did come with the Green Bay Packers on a Sunday night in week 5 to Dallas of this last season. And you guys remember what happened? It was 40-40 in overtime. So Micah's new defense gave up 40 points at Dallas. And Jerry said right after the game, I'm just going to paraphrase it, but he said, this game proved that it was right for us to trade Micah Parsons. So I don't know. I'd love to talk about this, but I'm leaning with the Keeb. I don't think Micah, I just don't think he would, frankly, have the guts to come and do what I did with Draymond Green. And maybe it's just his station in life right now that he's not there yet. But I would agree that I don't see him doing it, but I hope he would, because I think it would help him more than he thinks.
Well, speaking of Jerry Jones and your Cowboys,
it
was another year of disappointment for the Cowboys fans this season. Another year without a playoff football in Dallas. However, Jerry Jones told fans why they should have some hope for the future.
First of all, start with this Super Bowl. I would look at these teams. Look at New England. Look at Seattle. They're made up of, for the team, first-year quarterbacks for the team, system. The coaches are fresh on the scene. So the point is, in this day in the NFL, you can go from a pumpkin to a carrot,
Right on.
so to speak.
Yeah.
You can do it in a year, or you can do it in 2 years. That is very promising to me. I've been there. I understand how it's done. I understand how it's not done. I do want to say that it's highly competitive out here, as competitive as anything I've ever been involved in. But for instance, we're redoing our defense, and I've changed so much about the approach that we're going to have with coaching the defense.
On top of that, it's been reported that the Cowboys are looking to use their franchise tag on wide receiver George Pickens.
Yeah.
In his first season with the Cowboys, Pickens was third in the NFL in receiving yards last season. Lee, how much better will the Cowboys be than 7-9-1?
Well, I'm gonna get to that in a second, but to Jerry's point, he really right, man. It's a brand new coach, brand new quarterback, man. It don't matter. You catch that vibe in the offseason, you everybody buy in. You could be in that chip, man. So I see how he was inspired by that Super Bowl. It's always, you could look at any chip and you could find something about it that's inspiring, man. And I think it was well said by Jerry right there. But how good they'll be? Well, they got Christian Parker. I think they did a solid. I wasn't, I probably gave it like a C+ or a B- when we graded it.
Yeah.
But they got him. I'm here in Dallas, man, and the word is that he got great energy, though. That's what I do here. That he got great presence and he got a great energy about him. So he'll be bringing that Fangio defensive system, and I think that can work with Dallas. They got the D-line to do it. I think they still need an edge, but I think that system it could fare well with that front that they got. Now they still got to finish putting the pieces together on defense because they don't got the pieces right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to start with some restructures. First, they got to restructure a bunch of guys who they know going to be there long term. CD, Dak, Tyron Smith, probably Quinnen. He going to be there. Ain't letting him go nowhere. So they can clear up a bunch of money if they get these restructures right. So I think it start with that. And then after that, man, you got to finish putting these pieces on defense. But priority number one is you got to get Pickens, man. If it's a franchise tag him and nobody try to come get him and you get him like that, hope you get that same production from him. But I don't think you could go out and sign Pickens to what he wants. So it's almost like you got to franchise tag him at this point. But whatever it is, Pickens got to be on that roster. After that, man, you get you some corners, a safety, a linebacker, and an edge. And if you do those restructures right, you may be able to afford those guys, get one of them or two of them out of the draft. So, man, I'm going to stick with what I said when the show was about halfway through. I think the Cowboys be a lot better next year, man. They won 7 games this year. I will know a lot better after the draft and free agency to see how they plug these pieces in. But I'm gonna give them a 10-11 win season. You know what I'm saying? I think they can. I think the offense already got it going. You bring Pickens back, that motion is there. They plug in these pieces, man. Then the defense, they catch that same flow the offense had this year. I could see them winning 10, maybe 11 games, and they going to the playoffs this year. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow. What do you think, Cody?
Yeah, I want to say that they're going to be better, Skip. I really do, and I'm rooting for them. I had a great conversation with Dak down in San Francisco at the Super Bowl. And
did you? Wow.
Good friend of mine. Yeah, we talked about you a little bit too, Skip. I tried to get him to come on the show this offseason, so that's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But it's tough for me to say that right now. It's tough for me to buy in with the Cowboys. In the last 30 years, they're the only team in the NFC that hasn't been to an NFC championship game. In fact, they've only won 5 playoff games since they won a Super Bowl in 1995. They've only won 2 playoff games in the last 10 years, Skip. They beat Seattle in 2018.
Thank you.
In 2022.
Yeah,
so they're
need
not
to be
going
reminded.
in the right direction, in my opinion. In these last 2 seasons, they've only won 7 games each. Now, last year, offensively, they were really good. They were good enough to compete and contend on the offensive side of the ball. They were second in total offense. They averaged 27 points per game. a lot of us thought that Dak could potentially be the MVP, especially early on in the season, the way that he was playing, but it was the defense that had statistically a historically bad season. It was one of the worst seasons in Cowboys franchise history. And now you go out and hire a young first-time defensive coordinator. And Lee talked about it. I like Christian Parker. There is a lot to like there. He's worked with Vance Joseph, with Vic Fangio. He's done a good job of developing those young defensive backs with the Eagles the last couple of seasons. I really liked his press conference too, and the energy that he had, and talking about adapting the scheme to the players that he has and letting it be, more of a collaboration than a dictatorship. I think that's important, especially for a young coach. But still, there's a lot of risk involved being a first-time play caller with one of the worst defenses in the league just a season ago. On top of that, as of right now, going into 2026, the Cowboys are $30 million over the salary cap. That's where they're projected. That is not ideal when you want to go out in free agency and be aggressive, both with guys that are on your roster that you want to retain and also hit the market and find other guys that you can bring in to help your football team be better. Now, Lee talked about it. I think they will restructure some contracts. They've done that in the past, but that's not ideal for the future either, because now you're just adding issues to different salary cap years, and it's not a recipe for success, but it does have a win now mentality. So I think they will restructure some of those contracts. Some of the positives, though, and what should make Cowboys fans feel a little bit better is that they have done a good job in recent years with trades, with bringing guys in. I know we went back and forth about trading Micah Parsons, but I love that they went and got Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams in the middle of that defense. They've added some key pieces the last couple of years as well that they can have, that can help them win going forward. And they also have 2 first-round draft picks this upcoming draft, and they've been historically great at drafting, especially in the first round. So there are some positives. But yeah, I don't feel great right now, Skip. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, that front office, they're going to have to be perfect with their moves this offseason, both with the guys on their roster and also going out and getting guys in free agency. I do think they'll be a little bit better. I don't know if they'll quite get to 10 wins, but I could see them improving slightly, getting to 8 or 9 wins, maybe 10 being their ceiling. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of work this offseason for the Cowboys to get to where they want to be, and they don't have a track record of doing that. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah. What do you think, TJ?
They can't get no worse on defense. So, they have to improve, right? They got 2 first-round draft picks, like you said, Cody. They gave up 60 touchdown passes last season. 60 touchdown passes. If they are even an increment better, they're going to win 2 more games. If they give up 55 touchdown passes, they win 2 games. So I'm gonna say, like Lee, 10 to 11 is probably where I see them. Now, depending on how that division shapes out and wins, making the playoffs is to be seen. But I say at least 10 wins, right? They bring in the offensive coordinator, Christian Parker, whose specialty is the secondary. Their secondary was the worst part of their defense. So bringing him in, I expect them to improve drastically. They got 2 first-round picks, 12 and 20. I say they go get a edge rusher with that 12th pick, maybe a Bain or one of those guys from Miami who could both get after the quarterback, and they go get a corner or a safety with that 20th pick. That solidifies the back end of that defense because, pass rush goes with pass defense. It goes hand in hand. And that's 2 of the positions that, you become staples of your defense. And we all know that great teams are mostly built through the draft. So, the free agents are cool. Restructuring is going to be great for the short term, but we're looking for a long-term solve here, right? Jerry Jones wants to be great for not just 1 year. He wants to be great for multiple years, kind of help their track record from what it's been, and it's been terrible. Let's keep the buck. It's been terrible. But and I think that corner from Washington, Decario Davis, would be a great pick for him. Yeah, in the first round, he's a tall, lanky guy. That's the mold of the corners these days. They're tall, lanky, and they can run, right? Press coverage, getting guys' faces. And then the best thing I like is going from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Yeah, and a 3-4 allows you to do so much more defensively. It allows you to disguise. It allows you to put safeties down low. It allows you to run insert defenses, fire zones. It's more unpredictable than the 4-3 where you got 4 down linemen every down, right? The 3-4 has guys dropping that you don't expect to drop, and it's just a better overall defense in my opinion. So I say they get at least 10 wins coming this year, and that division, I think they could take it from Philly, man. If they get the games how they went last year, if the offense comes back and do what they've done every year, really, man, the defense is even in the middle of the pack. even if they're middle of the pack this year. You know, that looks like 10, 11 wins, if you ask me.
Man, I hope you guys are right about 10 wins. I can't see it. And before I unleash on this, so didn't you guys run 3-4 in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I get mixed up. Was it Wade then? That was Wade's year?
Yep.
Right? I think Dallas hasn't run the 3-4 since Wade was there. I think you have to go way back. Maybe it's 2012, so that would have been after him. But it's been a lot. It's been like a dozen or more years since they've run a 3-4, and yet the strength of their defense, if you can put quotes around strength, because they gave up the most points in franchise history, but it's Quinnen Williams, it's Kenny Clark, it's Odigizua. So you got 3 tackles basically, and then you're going to go to a 3-4. I don't know. Can you play all 3 of them across the front? And,
Hell
yeah. All right. So okay, maybe that works. But back to Jerry. So what he was saying right before the Super Bowl was how inspirational this Super Bowl was for him, because he's saying Seattle was a 60-1 shot before the year started, and New England was an 80-1 shot to win the Super Bowl before the year started. And so he's saying anything can happen in today's NFL. You can catch lightning in a bottle when you least expect it. Well, now you're just playing on delusional luck. Like maybe it'll happen. You know, maybe we'll get lucky next year. Maybe we'll have no injuries next year. But what killed me about last year was Dak. He was healthy the whole year. He played all the way through. And yeah, they had a very good offense, but when I needed it to be great on a Monday night against Arizona, it no-showed. And on a Sunday night against Minnesota and Brian Flores' defense, it just got clowned. It got bullied. And so what do I have to look forward to? And Akib and I go back and forth about this, and he predicted all year, next year's the year. And I hope he's right, because last year obviously wasn't the year that I thought it was going to be. When I looked at the schedule, I thought by NFL standards, it was an easy schedule last year. And my God, 7-9-1. It just doesn't feel right to me. I don't see any hope. And I'm tired of being a delusional chip off Jerry's block, where every year I say, okay, now it's going to work. And I look at what's left, and I look at George Pickens, and if you tag him, Jerry says, oh, he'll be fine with the tag. I don't think he'll be fine with the tag. I think he'll pout. I think he'll sulk. I think he'll make waves. And he wasn't to be trusted last year, because they said he was repeatedly, we've talked about it, and I don't want to beat the dead horse, but he was late to meetings, and he missed the bus going to the Raiders game on that Monday night, and got, slightly, wrist slapped early in the game, didn't play the first series. I don't know. Do you trust that? If you give him a long-term deal, do you trust that? Tag is for $28 million. He's going to want, like, CD's average salary is $34 million a year. Well, I wouldn't blame George for saying I want 35 a year. Can you pay 2 receivers 34 and 35 million a year? I don't know. As Cody points out, they're already cap strapped to start with. They're trying to get CD already restructured once. Is he going to restructure? Will Dak restructure again? And then
that's the thing. As a player, you don't care about restructuring, because all it means for me is I get a check in March.
You do.
Yeah. You want to restructure me again? Send me another check in March. Big dog check in March right now. Come on.
Okay, but you know what happens?
I ain't worried, especially when I'm somewhere that I know I'm going to be, that I don't mind being here. I'm home. I like it here. Restructure. All that means is a fat check in March for me. So go ahead.
Okay, but the point is, you're just robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're going to have to pay the piper at some point, because you keep pushing the money back and back and back. And some year it comes due. You have to pay Akib all of his money. You got to eat it, against the cap.
Man, some guys don't mind being franchise tag. Like, all it means is I'm gonna be paid Top 5 in my position. You give me 28 million here this year, then I'm right back at the table next year.
Right.
Like, bro, you look at the people who get franchise tag, they the richest motherfuckers in the league.
Right. I hope you're right.
It's
Dak did it. Yeah.
Them guys is the richest guys in the league, bro. So
Kirk Cousins did it twice.
Kirk get franchise tag twice. He didn't get a bag. Like, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
What'd you
like
say?
taboo like it used to be. It used to be damn franchise, but now it's like you almost expect you coming up to some big dollars, you're gonna get tagged at least for 1 year. So I think he kind of expected at least to be there and try to get it done this year. And I see him knowing or thinking that they had the ability to do, like Jerry said, what Seattle did, what New England did, is get to that chip in this year.
Okay, but remember, George Pickens thinks he's the best receiver in football, and he might on deep balls. He just might be. So you think he's going to be happy for a year at 28?
Yeah. I'm just saying, you can't tell a guy that plays this game that they're not the best at their position. I mean, if you a top dog, it may be 1 or 2 guys better than you, but you ain't going nowhere saying that he better than me. I can tell you right now, when I play, you couldn't tell me no safety is better than me, especially in my 4th, 5th year. That's just what it is. Lee, I know you feel like, hey, bro, what corner better than Lee?
Of course. And then the money just go up and up and up every year, Skip. You know what I'm saying? So if he do get 28 mil this year, next year, man, it's like, bro, I gotta wait.
And where you gonna go?
But that's the thing, though, with the franchise tag. There's no guarantee you're going to have the same production this year. There's no guarantee, knock on wood, I hope it doesn't happen, that you're going to be healthy. The issue for George Pickens is I just produced for you guys like a wide receiver one. I played arguably better than your wide receiver one that you're paying all this money to. Right. I want a long-term deal. I want stability. I don't want a franchise tag for 1 year. Say I get hurt halfway through the year or my production goes down. Then you can argue against me.
Bro, some people, it just don't matter. He could play half the year. He's still going to come back 24 years old. And that physique, that speed, them balls, it don't matter what the fuck he do this year. When he come to the table next year, he's still going to be the highest paid guy at receiver.
Regardless of what happens this year.
No matter what happens this year, bro. I'm
telling you. I hope you're right, because I want to see him get paid.
You pay off the future.
Yeah,
bro, it's like he gonna be 24 years old. He's still 6'4". He still got balls. Man, come on, bro. You put it on tape 1 year. Have a slow year if you want to, bro. Man, he's still gonna be 35 million. Somebody gonna come out and get him 34 million a year. Don't matter, bro. I'm telling you, he's not long in the tooth. He's not old. When you old, then that kind of stuff you don't want to get franchise. If you his age, 1 year franchise tag me again, and then I hit the tape, bro. All it do is make you the richest person in the NFL.
You don't think he wants right now, after the production he had, just some stability to know, I know where I'm going to be at. I got a long-term deal. I got guaranteed money. I've got a great structure with this team. Like that's why I think the argument
give it to him like, we gonna franchise tag you. That's 28 million. I'm gonna get you this brand deal right here at the Star. It's Jerry's world. I'm gonna get you this boot. So at the end of the day, you're gonna be at like 37 million, and then we're gonna make sure you get your 100+ million. Man, he's gonna be perfectly fine.
All right.
The Cowboys just better worry about somebody else feeling real high on Pickens and making the first offer on a franchise tag guy since like 1998. That's what the Cowboys better be worried about.
Would that be the Denver Broncos?
I don't know, Skip. I don't know. Somebody who feel like we one big-time player on the outside, one big-time player away, hey, man, they might do it. Somebody who got a late first-round pick, hey, man, look, let's use our first-round pick on this guy. We gonna pay him anyway.
So then Sean would say to George Pickens, you don't even have to come to meetings. Just show up whenever you want to. Just show up on Sunday. We don't need you at meetings, right?
Nah, of course you got to be at meetings, but we just triple your fines. You know what I'm saying? We paying you all this money. We expect you to mature a little bit. Let's triple your fines. Everybody else get fined $15K for missing a meeting. You gonna get fined $45K, and it'll slowly but surely disappear, Skip. Or his money will slowly but surely disappear. One or the other.
All right. Go one other direction before we leave the Cowboys behind. So their biggest free agent right now, believe it or not, is Jadeveon Clowney, former #1 overall pick. He is 33 years of age. He led them with 8.5 sacks. he didn't even come to the team until week 4. They signed him in week 4. He led them with 8.5 because he had 2 big ones on Thanksgiving Day against Mahomes in Kansas City. That was great. But at the end of the year, against 2 teams that were dead in the water, what was left of them, at Washington, he had a sack and a half. And at the Giants, he had 3 sacks in the final regular season game. So that's 4.5 sacks in the last 2 games against teams that were home for the holidays. And now he's going to command some ridiculous amount of money. I'm like, really? That's what we got to do? Akib, you good with that?
Nah, he could command whatever he want, but if he want to stay in Dallas, he's not getting no ridiculous amount of money at all. So if you want to go somewhere else, you might get somebody else to pay you a 1-year, 2-year deal and 1 year guaranteed. Excuse me, but if you stay in Dallas, no way. They got 2 first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
And then the second round, they got an early. Come on, man. They can get one of these guys out the draft. No way they're using some of this restructure money, this cap space that they're going to create once they restructure these guys. They're not using a big chunk of it on Clowney. He's not priority at all.
I hope you're right again.
One guy will add, Skip, on the offensive. Well, I know we talked about Pickens, and maybe because I'm an offensive guy and I love the run game. I think Javonte Williams,
I know.
they should try to keep around. He just played on a 1-year deal, which was very cheap. He's obviously going to be a little bit more this offseason, but he added a great element to that run game. He was a top 10 back last year.
He was.
Him to where their offensive line struggled and had some injuries at times. He made up for some of those by making guys and picking up some big-time gains. And that takes a lot of pressure off of your franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott, when he knows he can turn it around and give it to Javonte Williams to pick up some yards. So we saw him really resurrect his career. Hopefully they find a way to pay him and keep him in Dallas. There are a lot of good backs that are going to be on the market. They could go elsewhere, but I don't think they spend a first-round pick on a running back, so they might get one on in the draft. But I think it would be smart for them to try to find a way to keep Javonte in Dallas.
I don't think they're going to break the bank on Javonte neither, though. That's the guy that you want to keep. But I don't think you have to break the bank on him neither, man. He's back, and it's a
but he made 3 last year. I guarantee you somebody will pay him $10 million. I guarantee it. So you're going to have to pay $10 million to your running back to hope that he has another career year.
He ain't getting 10 a year.
I'd say 8. I think he could get
7. He might get 8 the first year.
A 3-year, $25 million, $28 million deal, maybe somewhere around there. But, again, obviously Dallas is going to have to restructure because of the salary cap if they want to find a way to keep him.
Well, you ain't got to worry about that. They're going to restructure. They're not going to hit free agency.
No, they have to. They have to.
And $30 million over the cap, bro.
And it's going to be some.
They can restructure 3 guys and be at $100 million. You know what I'm saying? So
if they turn those into salary bonuses and all of that.
That's man. They could.
That's things you're committed to those guys in the long term, and now you have issues in the future. So you have to win now. That's the importance of it. They're risky moves that Dallas is making right now. Just hopefully it pays off.
Okay, Saquon makes $21 million a year, just for the record. Yeah. That's the top of the market.
And without an O-line, Saquon wasn't.
He was nothing. Yeah,
you got to make sure you got an O-line in front of him in that beam.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
O-line cool. I don't think they got as long as they get healthy. They'll be all right. But then man, it's you're gonna give a little bit to stay in Dallas. Javonte gonna have to give a little bit to stay in Dallas. They'll give him like 7.5 a year, 2 year, 15, and make like 10 of it guaranteed or something like, bro. You a running back, brother.
All right. So my bottom line, this is my early prediction for next year's Cowboys. I got them at 6-11. That's my record for next year. 6-11. I don't see it. I don't see it.
6 wins.
Skip, look,
so the offense is going to get worse. Is that what you're saying? The offense is going to get worse.
The offense can be stopped by good defensive coordinators. The offense at Denver it should have set the tone, and it didn't set the early tone.
Denver stopped everybody.
Defense.
You're going to have 2 bad games at least. That's just how the league is. You're going to have 2 games at least where you ain't yourselves. So,
6-11.
When you have those bad games, that's where you need the defense to pick you up and play complementary football. Exactly. They just didn't have that this year. You can't go out and score 40 every time and
Can't do
still
it.
tie games or lose or be in overtime with the Giants when you're putting up 35 plus. You got to have games where your defense can go out there and win when your offense can't get anything going. You got to play confident.
They putting up 27 points and losing. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't accuse me of being delusional anymore about the Cowboys.
Look, Skip,
right?
you should have rolled with me this year. Now the Cowboys fans gonna be on your ass because they like, nah, fuck Skip. He thought we was gonna be trash, and now
Well,
they 11-6.
This that reverse psychology. Skip,
Exactly.
I know what he's
Yeah.
doing. I know what he's doing.
Well, if they're going to say fuck Skip, they got to get in line behind Micah, right?
Yeah, and everybody else, right? Skip?
Like a carnival line.
Skip's been hanging out with Akeem too much, man.
I told Skip been around me too long now. Hey, that's what I do. Skip. Dropping F-bomb at the F-bomb.
Hey, when I seen that clip, I was crying. I was crying.
I was literally crying.
One thing we didn't mention about that clip, too, shout out to our social media team, because the way they edited it, it sounded like you were calling Mike a Twitter finger motherfucker rather than repeating what he said. So, man,
you know they're going to spin it. You know they're going to spin it a little bit, put their little sauce on it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we already know Lamar Jackson isn't someone that shows up to OTAs, but the new Ravens OC, Declan Doyle, is already making some noise. He's challenged Lamar and other players to show up during OTAs. Here's what Doyle said. We would expect them to be here, and certainly it is voluntary. But also, if you want to say that you're going to win championships, you want to say that you have championship standards. And those are your goals and your expectations. Certainly, that's going to take work. The Ravens are also looking to work on a contract extension with Lamar Jackson and help create some cap flexibility. Lee, how will Lamar get along with his new young OC?
Hey, I'm going to tell you just straight to the point. If he at OTAs, if he at there in the offseason, they have a fucking great relationship. Agreed. If he's not there, then it's gonna be a rocky road, baby. But you see, Doyle is saying exactly what the fuck I've been saying, bro. It gotta happen. If you're gonna say you a champion, I want to be a champion. I want to do this. We need to be a championship team, bro. Doyle, no, he been around. It start in April, brother. It gotta start in April. And if Lamar there, that's gonna make everybody be there. And that's going to be the standard. That's where you create the standard at in April, May, June. You know what I'm saying? So I like how Doyle came out and set the tone right then and there, man. Put my expectations out there, and this is what I expect. If we do this, we could be a good team. If Lamar don't show up, then I can't promise y'all shit. You know what I'm saying? So I love how he started, man. But it's black and white to me, bro. If Lamar pull up, they have a great relationship. I'm telling you, he a young guy. He know what he talking about. He ready to work. Lamar, he'll fuck with that. He gonna fuck with that, and he gonna love the offense that this guy put in. So he just got to be willing to sacrifice that time at home and go do what the rest of the quarterbacks in the league do.
Yeah, so I agree 100% with what Doyle said. I just don't know if calling Lamar out publicly was the right way to go about it, especially when you're trying to build this relationship early on. This is a conversation that you could have had privately with Lamar and still emphasize the importance of OTAs in the offseason and these extra reps without having to indirectly call him out. You know, the way that he said, if you say you want to do this, you say you want to do that, well, then you better be here. You know, you've only been with Baltimore for a short amount of time. I just didn't know if that was the best way to do it. But either way, I still agree with what Doyle said. And the reason that I agree is because of everything that Akeem just mentioned. Those reps, those 2 months during OTAs and minicamp are so important to build that relationship and to build that trust between a quarterback and a play caller. This isn't another year with Todd Monken to where you know the offense and you can miss the offseason and then come back and minicamp and fall camp and hit the ground running. This is an offseason with a new scheme, with a first-time play caller who's only 29 years old, who I believe is going to want to have a lot of input from Lamar, and they can collaborate when it comes to building this offense instead of Doyle coming in and saying, this is what we're going to do. I believe that if Lamar's there for OTAs, Doyle can come in and say, hey, this is what we did under Ben Johnson. This is what we did in Chicago with the run game, play action. How do you like that? Tell me some of the things that worked well here with you and Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and the tight ends. And they could collaborate on this offense and build something together rather than it just being a dictatorship where Doyle comes in and runs everything. But if Lamar's not there in OTAs, they can't do that. That's going to be too difficult to try to do for a 3-day mini camp. And then in fall camp, you won't have any chance. So, yeah, I don't, like I said, fully agree with Doyle maybe calling him out in the media. I know he didn't say Lamar's name specifically, but he indirectly, called him out by saying, you've got to be here because Lamar hasn't been in OTAs in recent years. But either way, I think the message is hopefully going to be received by Lamar. Hopefully he doesn't take it the wrong way and he does show up for OTAs, because if they do want to make a championship run, Doyle and Lamar are going to have to build that relationship, and that's going to start in April rather than starting in fall camp in July. And
I think the message, bro, is for Lamar for sure, because but it's for everybody though. You know what I'm saying? If they say they want to win championships, if they say they want to do this, then shit, y'all got to be here. It's for everybody. So when Lamar not there, that makes some guys there in and out. Some guys there the full time. Some guys, other guys is not there. Lamar ain't there. I ain't there. So that caused you to have a season like you just had. So I think he for sure was talking to Lamar, but he talking to all the leaders on that team, though. I don't think he was just talking about just Lamar. That shit was directed at everybody, man.
And one other thing with that, I think real quick, sorry.
I expect players. I expect players to be here. Players with an S. I expect players to be here with an S. He talking about all.
There's been a narrative around Lamar about missing OTAs, so everyone knew indirectly who he was talking about.
Lamar ain't the only one who missed, though.
Lamar is standard in Baltimore. He's your leader. He's your franchise. He's the guy. You just said it perfectly. If Lamar's there, everyone else will want to be there. If Lamar doesn't show up, then they can be like, all right, well, Lamar's not there, then maybe I'm not going to show up. Some guys don't have that luxury, but some of the other starters could do that. Another thing I think is important and why he wants them there is because first impressions are going to carry a lot of weight. Lamar needs to be there for those first meetings. I know Doyle's not the head coach, so he's not going to be in front of the entire team. But when you're an offensive coordinator, you're going to be in front of the entire offense, and they need to see if he's a leader of men, if they can trust him. You say it all the time, Akib, when I come in, is he going to be a guy that I sit up and listen to and respect, or is he going to be a guy that I'm on my phone and not paying attention to? So if he can do that early on in those first couple of offensive meetings with Lamar there during OTAs, I think it'll set the standard for the rest of the year and what to expect coming from Doyle going forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, calling me out in the media ain't one way to learn my trust. That's kind of like you snitching a little bit. Like you telling everybody that you want me here. You know what I'm saying? But it is important for the quarterback to be there. You know what I'm saying?
You want them to ask you, can you be there? Fuck all that, bud. We grown ass men,
you ain't gotta ask me, but you gotta tell me, like, I'm the franchise quarterback, right? You the newbie in this thing. I know you the OC, but hey, pick up the phone. Hey, Lamar, this is very important for you to be here. I know you missed last year. You missed the year before, but everybody gonna follow you and do things a certain way based on what you do. You pick up the phone and have that conversation. What is you telling the media for? Now,
also,
go ahead.
Also as a pro, bro, he is a professional coach. They asked him the question about people's attendance in the offseason. He answered the question, bro. Shit, if I would expect players to be here, if they say they want to win a championship and that's going to be their standard, then I expect them to be here. What's wrong with that?
How they make sure players is there in OTAs? They put that workout bonus in their check. That's what make players come to OTAs more than anything.
Hey, Lamar got that workout bonus.
He got a great workout bonus.
Except for one person. That's the quarterback. So whatever reason why Lamar don't want to come to OTAs, me personally, I just feel like that was the wrong way to go about it. Yeah, you may have been talking to the whole team and to the other players, but we know who you're talking about specifically. We know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about your quarterback because you're a young OC. You need him there to be productive. Like Cody said, this is the most important time of the season. It's like your quarterback, if we're talking about college terms, not doing spring ball at all. And he just going during spring ball. That's crazy, right? Like you always talk about league. You got to be there if you want to go the long haul in this league. You got to be in OTAs. You got to build that camaraderie. You got to build that timing. We got to see you in the weight room. We need to see that you a warrior in there just like us. You're not just the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, like, I agree with Cody just saying that I think he went the wrong way about saying what he wanted. Now, as far as him being a general, being a leader of men and all this other stuff.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. we want a general. And then another saying, we want a personal text message saying, hey, you going to be here in OTAs. Fuck all that, bro. I'm the general. He asked me a question about OTAs. Shit, I expect everybody. Let me go be a D coordinator right now. Leave. They don't be here in OTAs. How you feeling? Well, shit, if they want to win a chip, I expect everybody here. Simple as that, bro. I'm putting it out there. I'm a general. I'm putting it out there. I expect everybody to be here. If we're going to learn and master this system and compete for a championship, it only happened one way. I'm answering the question, but I'm putting my message out there. I thought it was the perfect time. What other time to give a message to the entire team? You know what I'm saying? Then right now, bro, what the expectations are. So I don't know.
In front of the team.
In the locker room,
in front of the team.
I mean, you know, Lethal, that there's ways to work around questions. He could easily said, yeah, we expect everyone to be here. Hopefully they can be. And we're going to do everything we can to get guys here for OTAs. But obviously,
it sound like no general. That sounds like a sucker.
But that's in front of the media. Then you go behind closed doors when you get to those offensive meetings and those team meetings. And then you can say, hey,
general,
less is more with the media. Less is more with the media.
That mic in their face and be generals, bro. I want all my soldiers here. Yeah, simple as that, bro.
Maybe if he's a vet,
keeping no secrets, bro. I need everybody here.
If you're a veteran coach, you've been around for a while and you've earned that respect, and there's a level.
29, bro. You ain't done nothing more. Lamar did more in this league than you ever done. Period. So it's a way you don't mean nothing. It's a respect thing. I feel it's a respect thing, and you coming in already.
Tom McVay ain't know about nothing like that, bro.
Slightly disrespectful. McVay, now you the head guy. You got a little bit more, room to do what you want to do as the head guy. But you a 29-year-old offensive coordinator, and I said this from the beginning, man. You was playing second base 8 years ago. So I mean, how much can you really like? How much do you know about this game? Like, do you really even know more than me about this game? Like, I'm questioning.
What was Mike McDonald doing 8 years ago? He was punching numbers and running numbers.
Mike McDonald was in his 15 years at least in football. You got Shanahan, he grew up in football. You got Kubiaks, they grew up in football. He was playing baseball at a JC. So to me, you acting like something maybe you not, or you just reading the script, or you just totally oblivious to what it needs to be to communicate with this group of players, to communicate with guys in this spectrum. That's what I feel like.
I'm gonna fuck with it. Like, yeah, see, hey, put it out there, coach. I'm there. I send him a message. Hey, coach, I'm there. For sure. That's
a different person. We already got that personality. You already got that person. You dealing with somebody like Lamar Jackson. Who knows why he not coming to OTAs? What's really the reason behind him not coming to OTAs?
So, Akeem, how many times during this past football season did you call out Lamar Jackson for not being at OTAs and say that the football gods were getting even with him for his non-participation?
Hey,
right?
You get out what you put in, baby.
Okay. All right. So now to TJ's point, here you have a 29-year-old offensive coordinator who has never been a play caller, never called a single play in college or pro football. And again, to TJ's point, he started out in college trying to play baseball at some place called Iowa Western Community College. And he played baseball for 1 year and transferred to Iowa because his father was the strength and conditioning coach of the football team. And his father got him a job as an offensive assistant to Hayden Fry, and he got coffee for 3 years at Iowa for the coaching staff. And then I don't know exactly how this happened, but I give him this. Sean Payton did hire him to get coffee for Sean Payton for a while in New Orleans.
Barista.
And then, what's that? Yeah.
He's a barista.
He's a barista. That's all he was. But then, okay, but to his credit, when Sean did get your Denver Bronco job, he did take Declan Doyle with him to be the tight ends coach. So I'm going to give you that. And that lasted for 1 year. And then I'm going to give Declan Doyle this. Ben Johnson hired him to be his quote unquote offensive coordinator in the 1 year that Ben Johnson worked, obviously, with Caleb Williams in Chicago. But again, when you're an offensive coordinator under Ben Johnson, you're in the meeting. You know, he's the strategist, he's the play caller. So all of a sudden, a 34-year-old new head coach named Jesse Minter in Baltimore picks you at 29 years of age to be his new offensive coordinator and oversee by far the most important player in the franchise, Lamar Jackson. So obviously, to both Cody and TJ's point, when Declan Doyle, in his first ever big press conference that he's ever had in his whole life, when he calls out the whole team for being at OTAs, obviously most people are going to translate that into Lamar, I need you at OTAs. That's going to be your starting point because he's it for that team. And then here's the quote that I got to read that you guys didn't mention. So in his opening press conference, he said he had critiqued all of Lamar's game film from last year, and he was talking about the play that was called from the coordinator to the huddle to Lamar. And this is the quote from Declan Doyle. He said, that first play can be more consistent at times with his eyes, with his footwork, within the system. That's kind of what I noticed watching the tape. And the point is, Declan Doyle is saying Lamar too often doesn't actually execute the play that the coordinator called, that too quickly he breaks the pocket or decides to do something else that was not called within the confines of the play that the coordinator chose. So again, that was a pretty ballsy quote publicly to say that at age 29, having never called a play in the National Football League about a guy who could have been a 3-time MVP, because obviously he could have won it a year ago, going back a year over Josh Allen. So the point is, this guy's coming in with guns firing, man.
This guy sounds really privileged.
Yeah,
That's
does.
What he sounds like really privileged. Silver spoon. Now your buddy come give you the OC court. Come on, man.
I don't know, man. I just, Lamar might be sitting at home right now saying, seriously? Him?
Like what kind of pro do that though?
Do what?
What kind of pro do that? You calling me out? You saying that my eyes ain't right on the first play? Like, bro, what kind of pro do that though? You know what I'm saying? If somebody if a coach feel, leave, you ain't doing this, you ain't woo. All right, and you need to be here OTAs. Shit, I don't got no chips. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been to a chip.
Man, but okay, but Akeem, if
you swallow my pride and listen to the man, regardless if he played baseball, regardless of whatever he did, as of right now, he the OC of the Ravens. That's the job that he earned himself, is the OC of the Ravens right now, bro. So, like, come on, man. I don't know about the
was he in that office to even make that statement? Was you in the offensive meeting room with Monk and them? How you know what it was?
But was you in the offensive meeting with Ben Johnson to say this nigga is privileged? How you know what it was? He could have been.
He must be an Einstein of football. If he Einstein of football in 1 year here, 1 year there, hey, look, Jesse Mitchell bring him in and see that he's the best thing.
Hey, he wouldn't be the first Einstein.
Lombardi. Then I'll be wrong. But you in there, man, first lose situation. You got a 2-time MVP. Last year, you had a first-round overall draft pick behind Ben Johnson. Like, you in these no-lose situations, you got to be a horrific coach to even do subpar with these guys.
Nah, we seen what Caleb Johnson was. That shit was trash. And then he got a good staff in there with him, and it was the opposite of trash. You know what I'm saying? So the staff definitely had something to do with it.
I mean, they had a little bit, the run game helped, the offensive line improvement helped. Ben Johnson did help, the scheme helped. But at the end of the day, he was still out there doing some bullshit, running around making plays with his athleticism. Was he not? He wasn't on timing for a lot of his shit. He made a lot of that shit work with his legs and his arm. Running to the sideline, dropping dime. It wasn't like he was Joe Montana in the West Coast offense and just on slants and digs. Man, it wasn't none of that.
He was throwing stuff on time. They make it seem like he scrambled every play, but he don't scramble every play, bro. He throws stuff on time.
Every play.
What you say, Cody? Hit his foot and let that bitch back. Do that all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Short step, quick release. Stay loaded on the base. But to that point, TJ, I think Declan Doyle does deserve some credit, because when you're not a play caller, when you don't have an offense, when you don't have a background with statistics and film to back it up, you got to crush those interviews. And for him to go in there at 29 years old and have the type of knowledge and football language that he has, and he said too, he spent an hour on a Zoom call with Lamar during the interview process, and it went great. And we talked about things that he could do better and things that he can work on and things that I like. So obviously he wowed them in that factor. So there are things there that they, really like. So I don't think it's, a good thing to discredit him right away. You got to give him an opportunity because we haven't seen anything yet. Like, Sean McVay at one point was a young play caller. He had to learn somewhere. Kyle Shanahan was a young player. I'm not saying that, or a young play caller. I'm not saying that he's on their level yet. But everybody starts
football. They was offensive assistants at 8 years old. Shanahan, like they've been growing up.
His daddy was a strength and conditioning coach in football at Iowa. You think he just ain't talked to his daddy all his life?
What the strength conditioning coach know about being in the meeting rooms and X's and O's about football, league? They stay in there.
DB coach in Kansas was a DB coach. Then he went to strength and conditioning. Then he went to Indiana as a DB coach.
Hey, that ain't normal. That's not normal.
It's not.
Man, I know. It's strength and conditioning coaches who play ball. It's a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a ton of them who play ball. So I would think their kids know something about ball.
Akib, if Wade Phillips walks in the door the first day as your defensive coordinator and says, I need Aqib Talib to play more of the defense called. He can't get outside my structure. Aqib's going to say, okay, I'll listen to that. I'll accept that.
Yep.
But if 29-year-old Declan Doyle walks in, as Cody says, trying to make a strong first impression, as if he knows some things that Lamar doesn't know, I just think Lamar is going to reject that. Because he's going to say, what do you know? What have you done that I haven't done in this league? I just think you got to tiptoe in. You got to come in.
That's what you want them to tip. Who want to play for somebody who tiptoeing around?
I don't know.
If the new 29-year-old coach comes say, hey, Leave could get better in this technique. He opened up too fast. He doing this. He ain't playing the. All right, bet. If a coach comes say, well, I know Leave's doing a great job. He's not doing it, but he's doing it.
To that point, you're going to have to put it on film and show me.
I don't know with no soft-ass coach.
And Lee, we done had plenty of disagreements with DB coaches in the past where he going to tell you something, you're going to be like, come on, bro. Like, come on.
Exactly.
So,
and once like Joe Wood, and I'm not Raheem, they like, nigga, ain't no fucking come on. Bruh, we doing it like this, and I'm like, all right, bet. I respect you for that, bruh. And the ones who I could, man, I ain't doing that. You don't know how it's okay, Keeb, it's okay. I don't respect their ass. Okay, so I might respect.
And you know why you gave them other dudes that respect? It's because how they came. Exactly.
No, it's because they came. They standing on their shit. I'm the coach, and we're doing it like this, and I need you to buy into this technique.
But that's the thing is I agree with the message. I think he just could have done it differently. You can have that same conversation.
Texted to him, right?
Zoom call. They've already been contacting each other back and forth. Well, there's no difference in me texting him than saying it and him reading it on a transcript from a press conference. There's no difference in that, rather than me calling him or FaceTiming him face to face saying, hey, Lamar, I like all these
things. Already done that. He already had this conversation. That's why he's doing it, because he already had this conversation with Lamar. Baby, I need you there. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody asks me about the offense, I'm gonna say I expect them to be there because I already had this conversation with Lamar.
And then when Lamar shows up,
it's a disaster waiting to happen.
We had a great conversation. We agree on a lot of things. Lamar's here. I appreciate him trusting me and being here. And now we can build this thing brick by brick and get things going because he's a great competitor.
All right, watch. Now watch. Lamar gonna be there for OTAs for the whole year. And the motherfuckers gonna go
win another MVP.
They're gonna go. The Ravens gonna be in the Super Bowl. The first year Lamar there for the whole year OTAs, the Ravens gonna be in the Super Bowl. Watch what I tell you.
I hope so, man. I want Lamar to get one.
So Lamar ain't never been in no OTAs.
He been, but the last 2 years he ain't been.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, he was actually there for 1 day this past year. He was there for 1 out of 9 days, I think it was.
He might as well not even came to that shit.
Yeah, okay.
He forgot some. Oh shit, it's OTAs.
So Aqib, are you picking the Ravens? Right, if you have to make an early pick, are you picking the Ravens to win it all?
And I ain't picking them right now. I'm picking the Broncos right now. But if Lamar Jackson have 99.9% attendance in the offseason like Tom Brady do, the Ravens going to win the Super Bowl. Telling you.
Yeah, you're picking the Broncos now and next year, and for the rest of your life, you'll pick the Broncos every year.
It ain't like
Yeah,
that, Skip.
Yes, it is.
Like that. The Broncos did they not have to prove to me too? For the first 3-4 weeks, I didn't pick the Broncos to win the Super Bowl, did I? They had to prove to me. I really watch them, so I really was watching that team. So by like week 4, I was like, "Hey, Skip, the Broncos is really on something." I'm telling you, telling you, they really on something. So they had to prove to me too, Skip. I'm like you, Skip. I just say what I see.
Okay. Yeah. What you saw was Joe Burrow got hurt and was gone, and that ended that.
But that AFC gonna be hot.
Broncos fucking balling too.
That AFC gonna be hot this year. I tell you that.
Yeah.
I just say what I see, Skip. I'm just trying to be like Skip Bayless.
Yeah,
exactly. Bayless, you feel me?
Yeah.
My next tattoo gonna say Lead Bayless. Cross my forearm.
Yeah.
Lead Bayless.
F that. That's what I said. F that. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on then. We're going to move on. It wasn't a huge surprise, but the Dolphins just released wide receiver Tyreek Hill this week. Speedy wideout had season injury surgery in September after dislocating his knee and tearing his ACL. It's unclear at what point next season Hill will be able to suit up again. We haven't seen Tyreek have 1,000 yards in a season since 2023. But before that, he had been first-team All-Pro in 3 of the prior 4 seasons. 2023, he led the entire league in receiving yards and touchdowns. My dog, Cody. Where do you expect Tyreek to sign, and how much impact will he have at the age of 32?
Yeah, it's obviously early, but I do think there are a couple places I could see him going to. The first and most obvious is back to Kansas City. You know, he has that chemistry already with Patrick Mahomes. He had 6,600 receiving yards there, 62 total touchdowns. We know the production that he can have in that offense with Andy Reid. Now you have Eric Bieniemy back as well, who was the OC when Tyreek Hill was there. So he's going to have that continuity. And I think that's important too, because remember, with this injury, he's most likely going to miss the entire offseason and potentially the first couple games of the regular season. So you're not going to get those offseason reps and OTAs and fall camp. That familiarity with the scheme will make up for that since he's been there before. They also just restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, so they're going to have some room if they want to make that move. Another team to keep an eye on who I think might make a run for him is the Buffalo Bills. You know, you bring in first-time head coach Joe Brady, who's been there before. He's an offensive-minded coach. They're desperate for a playmaker on the offensive side of the ball at wide receiver. He's already talked to Brandon Beane before, obviously, about bringing in wide receivers or drafting guys. So potentially they could have that conversation about making a push for Tyreek Hill this offseason. And then a couple other teams I think to keep an eye on that can maybe make a run for Hill this offseason. The 49ers with Kyle Shanahan adding a threat to the outside. The Patriots, who I think are also an offensive weapon away to really get to where they want to be on the offensive side of the ball, give Drake May someone else, and then also put him in Josh McDaniel's system. And then the Baltimore Ravens, like we just talked about. Give Lamar another receiver opposite of Zay Flowers and help out your young first-time offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle. Now, the biggest question and the second part of that question was how much production can Tyreek Hill have at 32 years old? And you just said it. He's not far removed from leading the league in receiving yards. He's also not far removed from being a first-team All-Pro wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, really, the last decade. He has proven that. But the biggest thing with his knee injury, which was catastrophic, was the fact that he is a speedy, quick wide receiver. He's not a big body possession type wide receiver. He relies heavily on his speed over the top and also getting in and out of breaks. So I don't know with that knee injury and how bad it was, how much that's going to affect him, especially being 32 years old, which isn't old in the real world, but in the NFL, you're getting up there in age. So hopefully he can get back close to 100%. I still think there's going to be a lot left in the tank for Tyreek Hill. I think he's going to have something to prove, but it's going to be, really big to see how he comes back from that injury. But I do think a couple teams will make a run for him this offseason. I think the Chiefs are probably going to be first in line.
Nah, that injury is definitely going to determine the impact. You know what I'm saying? It's how he shake back from that injury shit. He said on his stream that he got to get another surgery for that LCL on his knee. So it's not even done getting cut open and shit yet. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely going to miss the offseason, man. He probably going to be healthy. He still got time to get healthy. It's 6 months or whatever. You got time to shake back and get healthy. But like you said, Once you start being 32, 33, man, it just take a little bit longer to recover from these injuries. And him being a speed demon, once you lose a step, are you the same guy? You know what I'm saying? It's that's what you hang your hat on. So are you the same guy if you lose a step? But with that being said, man, I don't think he'll demand a lot of money because this is a high risk, short term signing. You know what I'm saying? So those kind of signings, he may get 10 mil. It ain't gonna be nothing crazy. Like it's gonna be something real short and straight to the point. So if he good, it's like, oh great. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a 1-year deal. If he good, oh great. If he not that good, well, we ain't really spend nothing on him anyway. So I definitely think a team who feel like we one weapon away from making our offense top notch is going to try to come get him. You said both of them. Who I said the Ravens or the Bills will be two good spots where I don't really need Tyreek to install the offense and all that, bro. I need you to be healthy, put you at this X, run these deep balls, put you at this Z motion, run these override. Like that's easier for the receivers. Y'all can learn the offense way better than the quarterback can. You know what I'm saying? So you could plug and play a guy like Tyreek, man. You ain't got to play him every single down. He older anyway. Man, put him in there and let him do what he do, man. He going to make the defense worry about him, take the top off the defense, man. So just him being on the roster, on the field, he going to have eyes on him. He probably going to demand too high. You know what I'm saying? You really ain't going to play a lot of one high with him if he still got that gas. So, and I can see him going to Baltimore, linking up with Lamar.
And that would work perfect to that point. You get some too high coverage. Both the Bills and the Ravens love to use their tight ends. You get too high, you attack the middle of the field with likely Kincaid,
Ravens may not
Andrews, Knox, those guys.
Great run games too. So you put that on the field, and now we could really tote the rock. So I could see Buffalo, Baltimore. I think it'd be two good landing spots for him. He won't have to carry the team, but he still can be productive if he come back healthy.
Yeah,
what you got, TJ?
He's definitely going to take some time with with those surgeries, man, and him being 32. You know, after 30, they like to kind of put us to the side as vets a little bit and try to get us out the league anyway. And if he wasn't as talented and had so much production that he's had, he may, be a couple steps away from being out this league. But for those two reasons, I feel like going to places with some familiarity, some comfort, like Kansas City, back home with Pat and Big Red over there, Andy Reid, where he knows the system. You don't have to worry about rushing his injury to get back. He could chill during the offseason OTAs and just really trust, the process of rehab. In Kansas City, he's comfortable with the quarterback, like you said, Lee. The timing really will still be there, I feel, and he'll be productive, especially teams that are knowing they're going to be a playoff run. So even early in the season, there's no rush. We don't need you to make the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs without you. Get ready mid-season where you be 100%. We know you 100%, and let's work on this playoff run. Another place I say is the Chargers, man, with McDaniels there. He's familiar with McDaniels. McDaniels is familiar with him, had one of his best seasons with McDaniels. And, Tyreek being hurt is the reason why McDaniels is not still a head coach. So him being in LA under Harbaugh, McDaniels, they one receiver away. They got a good defense, some pieces that they need offensively, mainly an offensive line. But, with Herbert having such a big arm, he could drop back and just find Tyreek deep. That's the one thing he was missing this past season. So he'll have time to rehab and get ready there. And it's warm in LA. You don't want to go to two cold places, unfamiliar with that hard turf like Buffalo and Baltimore has with that knee, man. You want to play on something a little softer. And I know SoFi is turf, but KC is grass. So, that warmth is like, when you had them knee injuries, I done had 3 or 4 myself, man. It's like the Tin Man when it's cold. Where's the oil? I need the icy hot, rub this thing down. Yeah. So being in a warm spot would definitely benefit him in his recovery. So I like those two places.
I like how that Chargers sound too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will add, though, I think is interesting, kind of going back to the Chiefs talk, is remember Patrick Mahomes also is coming off of a knee injury, so we don't know if he's even going to play next year. So if he signs for a 1-year deal in Kansas City, obviously they want to add as many weapons as they can, but Patrick Mahomes will most likely not be the quarterback for maybe the entire season, at least, for a couple of weeks or for the majority of the season. So that's something to keep an eye on. But I still think, like I said, Kansas City.
How long you think these
technology, man? They coming back 7, 8 months with the ACL. It ain't no year no more.
They fixing them motherfuckers like sprained ankles, man. Them boys coming back quick.
They coming back fast.
Patty will be there first day of training camp. Patty will be under the center.
I hope you're right.
Easy.
So he'll be back 3 or 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks into the season.
July, August, 8 months, he still ain't ready. Like, come on now. It's an ACL.
All right.
So to TJ's point, the telltale is going to be Mike McDaniel as the new coordinator under Jim Harbaugh, because if Mike McDaniel pushes to go get Tyreek, then you'll know better that he knows, because nobody knows Tyreek right now better than Mike McDaniel does, because he would have the inside on exactly what surgery was done. Because remember, to quote Cody, it was catastrophic because the kneecap dislocated along with the torn ACL and a bunch of other bad stuff. And then, as Akib pointed out, he's not even finished with some cleanup surgery. So, man, I don't love the feel of this, because when you're 32 after 10 years and you have that happen, and then don't forget, Tyreek, as Cody pointed out, had the one great year in 2023 when he led the whole league in receiving yards and touchdowns. But then in 2024, he was healthy the whole year, I think, and everything dropped drastically. Targets dropped by 50 and catches dropped by 40. I don't know what happened to Tyreek, not this past year, but the year before when he was healthy. He started to show a little bit of drop off. Yeah. And if you throw in catastrophic on top of that, I just don't know, man. I hope so, because I like him. And yet, is he cheetah? I mean, is he cheetah? Like, is he the fastest animal on the planet? Is he still that? Because as you guys know, just a little half step of quickness and speed, and all of a sudden you're just a little guy trying to catch the ball. And then you look at Mahomes. So Mahomes did win an MVP without Tyreek the first year. And then Mahomes over the last 3 years, I dare you, go look at the numbers of Patrick Mahomes over the last 3 years. Drop.
Yeah, they might drop, Skip, but they still ain't just like terrible.
They're not terrible, but they eroded. They just eroded a little bit. And is Tyreek going to fix that? I doubt it. Do they have rapport and connect? Yes. They got a lot of good vibes, and they understand each other and they know each other. But physically, can you replicate the speed? I don't know. I don't love this, but again, like Akib said, if you do that 1 year deal for, kind of a make good sort of a deal, then you try him because he's Tyreek Hill. You just see if he could recapture it. And I hope he can, because I miss him, man. I mean, he was the most electric receiver in the league for like 5 straight years, and he was must-see TV. And Akib tells me that everybody can backflip, but Tyreek can really stand still backflip. Akib said he could do it when he was like 8 years old. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. When you got those knee injuries, it's important to strengthen all the muscles around that knee so it stabilizes it.
Yeah.
What I do know about Tyreek, he got some pistons down there. He's a track guy. That track strength, that track leg strength is just a little bit different. Like those muscles and how
that's a good point. Yeah.
They work, them things get strong. So as long as he's strengthened around all them ligaments, I think he'll be absolutely good, because that's the most important thing, is make sure all those muscles around those ligaments are as strong as possible. He's going to be on the track. He's going to be out there probably in Miami in that heat. He ain't called the cheetah for no reason. So
and also strengthening that other knee as well, so you don't overcompensate. But to your point, Skip, I do think it's important to add there were some other variables in the 2024 and 2025 season. You had the concussion, multiple quarterbacks in and out of the lineup. There was no continuity at that position with the offense. So it wasn't just Tyreek Hill that had the drop off in production. It was the guys specifically the quarterback.
Tell Jamar Chase that same shit.
No, I hear you. I'm not saying that guys can't produce with other quarterbacks, but Miami did have a lot of issues at the quarterback position. Not everybody can produce like that, So there was some drop off around him as well.
Okay, so the question is, will Tyreek Hill go somewhere and change some team's life, like be a difference maker? I doubt it.
Man, you
Yeah,
come in
I
and
doubt
improve
it
a
too.
team and
I
get
doubt
him
it too,
over the
man.
hump. He ain't gonna do it all by himself. But
Yeah,
if you get him over the hump and get him to them AFC championships or
Yeah.
NFC championships, you changing
Yeah.
lives right there.
yeah, that would.
Yeah, if you say it like that, get them over the hump is different than change life.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's-
and I think it all just depends on
totally
how he looks at coming back from this knee injury. Like I said, he's a speedy, quick receiver. You got to get in and out of breaks. You got to cut on that knee. You're not a possession type guy. It's all going to depend on his recovery.
You got to run shit. I got a high ankle sprain surgery. I ain't Tyreek Hill fast, but I could run. You feel me?
Yeah.
I got a high ankle sprain surgery at 32, and shit, I for sure never got that step back. You know what I'm saying?
Really.
I could feel it in practice. I could
Yeah.
feel it in the game. Like, God damn, this hoe just stuck stiff. My ankle stuck stiff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look,
got
it's stuck stiff. I
mannequin
can't
foot.
get it
Yeah.
than this right here. So I'm telling you, man, you get up to 32, 33. I know he ain't me, I ain't him, but a speed guy lose a step, hey, that ain't what you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Akeem, didn't you run 4.4? Like, right?
Yeah, I ran it smooth. I ran 4.38 at my pro day, to be
Okay,
exact.
there you go.
I ran 4.44 at the combine, but you know, I wasn't too shabby. I ran with
Okay.
Tyreek. I'm on tape running with
I know.
Tyreek with the deep ball.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So I could run, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man, them later surgeries, man, we just heal different. We just
Yeah.
heal different once you start getting a little bit older. So
Agreed.
it's gonna play a part. It's definitely gonna play a part. And then Cody hit on it, not being there for the whole offseason. That's gonna be tough to hop. I know, like I said, Tyreek don't need much, bro. Give him some over out of post corner, a couple double moves, some fades. Get him the deep ball route tree, you know what I'm saying? And a couple quick stop routes to put the ball in his hand. So he don't need too much, but still just not, you know what I'm saying, creating that rapport with your quarterback for April, May, June, July. It's gonna play a factor too. So you still got to get another surgery. You probably ain't gonna be running around till shit. Who knows? May,
That's the
June.
thing,
You know what I'm
that
saying?
mental. A lot of times the trainer will tell you, like, hey, you healed, you good. But up here, you still don't trust it. You be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, go 100, you good. But
Yeah.
mentally, will he get over that barrier or will it hinder him? There's a lot of questions with that.
So change lives, Skip. I can't say I think he gonna go somewhere and change lives. But if he heal good, I think he can go be productive and help somebody win though for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's no question that A.J. Brown wasn't very happy with how the Eagles season went. He had the lowest yardage total in 5 years, and it seemed like there was drama in the single week. And it doesn't seem to be ending. On the Dudes on Dudes podcast, A.J. Brown gave a little wink when Julian Edelman joked that they're all Patriots.
And really fun to sit here and get to chop it up with you, bro. And just remember, we're all Patriots. You know that, right?
Are you going to be a Patriot? Are you going to be a Patriot? Do you want to be a Patriot?
I'm Oh, shit. There have been trade rumors for months, but it is a complicated cap situation. The Eagles would take nearly $50 million cap hit if they trade Brown before June 1st. Skip.
Yeah.
Should the Eagles trade A.J. Brown before the draft? If so, to where?
They definitely should trade him before the draft. And by the way, quick point about Dudes on Dudes that we just saw, Julian and Gronk. Believe it or not, Julian Edelman was A.J. Brown's favorite receiver when A.J. was coming up through high school, college. And so they're close. They have a connection. So I'm not going to read a whole lot into his wink about, we're all Patriots.
Yeah.
But this is just me. I just think Jalen Hurts is more valuable than A.J. Brown. And those two have run their course. That they are done. Whatever you could get, whatever Howie Roseman and Lurie could get out of those two, they got it out of those two. And it's now more trouble than it's worth. And I know Howie said at the year-end press conference that you just can't find players as valuable as AJ is. And I got that, but again, the bridge just finally burned where AJ took shot after shot. It was on the stream when he called the offense a shit show. And then he posted that biblical tweet about when a city turns on you. It's Jesus to the disciples, telling the disciples to just go to the next town. And it's like, it's time for him to go to the next town. Well, it is. And we just talked about Tyreek getting older. Well, AJ's 29 now. And just for the record, and maybe it's because he and Jalen were clashing, but his last 4 years, the yards have dropped per game a little bit, and then a lot this past year. And he did under Vrabel, obviously in Tennessee, he did make a Pro Bowl, AJ did, and had a career high of 11 touchdown catches. So to me, if Howie Roseman could get one of 3 teams at the picking near the end of the first round to give their first round pick right now for AJ Brown at 29, I think Howie Roseman would dance on that. Like he would celebrate that. So you got Browns picking 24th. And I don't know, I think AJ wouldn't love going to the Browns, but again, that pick could be on the table for the Eagles and trade. And then obviously the Bills need an AJ Brown or somebody like him. There's 26th, and then the Patriots pick 31st. So if one of those 3 would give me that pick, I would run to the podium. You know, I would just, on draft night, I would say, thank you, God, I will take that for an AJ Brown, who I think is starting to leave his prime. I don't think he's ever going to be quite what he was 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. So yes, they should. The tale has been told in Philadelphia, and to me, if I were the Bills at 26, I'd probably just close my eyes and plunge on it and say, you can have our 26th pick, and we'll see if we can get a couple of big time years out of AJ Brown with Josh Allen.
Hey, I don't like to agree with you, Skip, but I gotta agree with you, man. I think it's time for him to go, man.
Yeah.
It's he not happy there. You know what I'm saying? If you complain that much, that often, then you just not happy there, man. He's been something to deal with in Philly. The coaches got to deal with him, and Jalen Hurts got to deal with him. So, man, it's just time for him to move around. I think it's time for Devontae to receiver. And then you say Sean Mannion coming in, he's going to run a Sean McVay type of offense.
He will.
They don't got room for 2. Both of those guys are ex-receivers. Maybe you can run that in the last offense. This offense needs a big dog Z receiver who going to insert and be a bully and catch over routes and catch fake over corners. And they need that real Z receiver, man. Yeah. And shit, it's a bunch of receivers in the draft.
There are.
You can do that?
A bunch of
I don't think he want to do that. That's what it is. I don't think you're not going to want to play that Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua type role. I think he can do that by far, but I just don't think that's his style. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't doing it. They tried a little bit this season, Lee, but he was whiffing on the blocks.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's his style. You whiffing on them blocks because you don't want to, not because you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to do that.
Blocking is
you look at the draft. It's hella receivers in the draft. You know what I'm saying? It's some physical, like look at little bro from Indiana. Go get him.
Right.
Go get Cooper or whatever. He a blocking motherfucker and he cold. Like let him go crazy. I'm telling you, put him in Sean McVay offense, he'll go crazy. But then you look at the free agents, bro. It's Alec Pierce, Romeo Dobbs. I ain't saying all these dudes to play that role, but Jennings, he'll go in there and play that role, get dirty. Mike Evans might do it. You know what I'm saying? Debo would do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's guys in there who you could put in that zero, insert them to block, crossing routes, and free them up, man. It's too many guys in the draft. It's too many free agent receivers. And you could get a lot for AJ. Skip say not in his prime, but I think you right at the end of your prime. You know what I'm saying? You still can go to somebody to be a number 1 receiver. So, you still under 30. So I think you still can go be a number 1 receiver for sure. So, man, I think it's just time. It's time for Devontae to be that number 1 guy. And for the scheme they got, I think one of them got to go because you need that big dog bully in there, and neither one of them really play that role.
Yep.
I'm going to go against both of you guys. I think Philadelphia tries to find a way to make it work with A.J. Brown, at least for one more season. I mean, I know he's had, the cryptic messages and some of the comments on live streams and on social media, but he's still produced at a very high level since he's gotten to Philadelphia. When he arrived in 2022, he now has 5,000 receiving yards. He's averaged over 1,000 yards every single year. He's had at least 1,000 receiving yards every single year. He's got 32 touchdowns. He's had multiple second-team All-Pros, multiple Pro Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's been instrumental to their success on the offensive side of the ball. Even the year that Saquon was great at running the football, you need that combo at wide receiver with a 1A and a 1B. And to your point, Akib, I think it's going to work for him this offseason being with Sean Mannion. I think that's going to help him because you say he doesn't want to get inside and block and insert in the C gap. But if you get that McVay Shanahan type system where you're getting more opportunities and getting the ball more, as a receiver, you're going to be more willing to block because you know you're going to get rewarded for it. And I think that offense can unlock him a little bit. And we saw what they can do, with the Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. When you have a combo at receiver in that type of offense, it works really well. I think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith would be good. Now, I know it's a big risk with Sean Mannion, who's never called an offense before. He's a young coach, so you don't really know what to expect. But him in that system, I think he might, be a little intrigued to come back. The other thing, too, though, with all of this, I think is important to add is that if they do trade A.J. Brown before June 1st, which would obviously be before the draft, the Eagles would take on $43 million in dead cap. And if they keep him, they'll have, it's only $23 million in cap space. So basically, you would be paying him $20 million extra to go somewhere else, or it would hurt you or cost you $20 million more to watch him go play somewhere else. Now, Howie Roseman has been notorious for not being afraid of dead cap space. They've been top 5 for the last 5 years. They're still winning Super Bowls and going to the Super Bowl and having success. But I just don't think they want to deal with any of that right now. I don't think they try to find, a trade spot for him. I don't know if they want to try to give up some things for him or have him go elsewhere. I think they revamp, take some time this offseason, reset, maybe bring the guys together in OTAs and give it one more shot in 2026.
There was this old philosopher I used to read on, and he used to say, when a woman's fed up, there ain't nothing you could do about it. And now I ain't calling A.J. Brown a woman, but it's over with. He fed up. It's been a soap opera. It's been the young and the restless all season. We ain't even watching football. We waiting to see what A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts finna do at the end of the game. What is going to be the discrepancy this week? So that being said, I think they move on, man. I think they better off with each of them parting ways. A.J. Brown finding a home where he can be happy at, and then them finding a young receiver that's happy just to be in the league and grateful to be in the NFL and produce and listen to a young coach like Sean Mannion. I like Denzel Boston at Washington. He's a big body. He runs the overs routes. He's catching traffic. He's fast. He can play X if you need him to in emergency situations. But overall, he's a big body that can do all that Puka Nacua type things, right? But yeah, overall, I just want to keep it short. I think they move on, even with the head coach. You beefing with the coach, you beefing with the quarterback. Them two people, you can't beef with
everybody.
Just
not happy here, bro.
Just not happy, bro. You upset. It's like one of them things when you already upset, everything bother you. Somebody sneeze. Hey, damn, what you sneezing for?
Right.
Yeah, like
why my eggs ain't cooked right? He mad at everybody. And then you're trolling, you making little jokes about I'm a Patriot. Yeah, like bro, people won't like that locker room and people, hey, bro, we don't like that kind of shit.
We've seen the same thing before with A.J. Brown, and then it ends up working out, and they win a Super Bowl together.
So when you win a Super Bowl and lose the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, then we gonna deal with it. The moment we out in the first round, now it's time to shake some shit up, bro. We ain't winning no more.
At home.
I mean, the first thing that they shook up was firing Patullo and brought in a new offensive coordinator to run the Shanahan McVay system. Like I mentioned, you need 2 stud wide receivers to run that.
What do you know? I mean, I know
it's a question mark rather than A.J. Brown, which you know what you can get out of him.
But I know Puka turned into a stud receiver and Cooper Kupp turned into a stud receiver. But before that Sean McVay system, was they like these known stud receivers? Nah, they was just hard-ass bullies who fit this system real good, and he found them in the rough, He got to find somebody who's willing to do that kind of shit that they do, bro. You're
You
not
have
going
to have
to
a threat, like you said.
kind of receivers that role. You can't switch him. He's 29.
What
He's
makes
been in the
that
league for
role
8 years.
is you being willing to block. The threat of you blocking and I'm not blocking and I'm gone. That's what makes that go. When you don't block,
That's what make it work,
I'm covering.
But if you start rewarding him with more balls and more targets and more routes and switch up the route tree and quit being
They
predictable,
did. You know what happened, Cody? When they did that, you know what happened?
They lost.
They lost. They lost the game. When they started,
What you say?
Targets.
said,
They
you
gave
know
him
what
more
happened?
targets.
When they gave him more targets,
I'm not saying force feed him the football. I'm saying the Sean McVay Shanahan system to where you're going to guarantee some easy completions for your quarterback. You're going to scheme it up so guys are wide open on in routes and overs and those sail routes.
But you got to block first. You got to be a dog ass blocking wide out on these outside zones in order for them to work, though.
Not in this offense. You can go 13 personnel and still run the same type of scheme and put a big body tight end there.
I'm telling you right now, if that receiver not no dog ass blocker, then it ain't gonna work.
You can't run 13 all game, Cody.
Bro. It's not. If I don't got to worry about crack replacing because he ain't gonna block him anyway, he gonna get through that block.
Yep.
It ain't gonna work.
So TJ, I got to know who that philosopher was because I got to buy that book. What is it?
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. Oh, that book.
When
Oh.
the woman fed
Called 12 play.
12 play 2000.
Okay, next.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Other than Daniel Jones, who is likely going to end up back with the Colts? The consensus seems to be that Malik Willis is the best quarterback on the free agent market this season. There are multiple quarterback needy teams, and the Dolphins look likely to be one of them, as they reportedly set to move on from Tua Tagovailoa. Cody, how much of an upgrade will Malik Willis be over Tua in Miami?
It's tough to say and it's tough to compare because Tua has 76 starts under his belt. Malik Willis has 6 starts under his belt. So it's tough because there's not a huge sample size. But I will say this, obviously the last couple of seasons, Tua has been struggling. Injuries have played a big factor, but he has regressed a little bit from those 2022, 2023 years. But Malik Willis, on the other hand, has started to ascend. And I really like what I've seen these last 2 years, being able to learn behind Jordan Love as a backup, being able to learn under Matt LaFleur in that offense in Green Bay. And we've seen, I went back last night and watched his tape again against the Bears when he had to replace Love and against the Ravens when he got a start. There's a lot to like on that film, man. He threw a seam ball against 2 high where it was a bender for a touchdown to Christian Watson against the Ravens. That was an absolute dot. Then he threw a little switch release go route to Dobbs down the sideline against the Bears. It was another dime. He can make all the throws on the field, both to his right and to his left, which is important. As a right-handed quarterback, you got to be able to throw to your left as well. I think his feet are very good in the pocket, especially when it comes to play action. He does a great job of selling the fake, getting his eyes back around. Like he was saying earlier, staying loaded in the pocket, short step, quick release. He can make those NFL-level type of throws with the quickness and the arm talent that you need to make them. He's also very athletic. I was surprised, not surprised, but I didn't realize how good of a runner he was until I watched him on tape this year. He is so good in open space, making guys miss. He's so good in the pocket, has great awareness, knowing where the pressure is coming from, knowing when he's hot, knowing how to avoid the rush, things that he didn't do well in Tennessee in that situation. I know it's 2 different style of offenses, but now he comes to Green Bay and he's starting to excel at things that he struggled with early on in his career. And I'm always an advocate for giving guys opportunities and letting them develop instead of giving up on them early. And I think Malik Willis is a great example of that. I also love the way that he runs a zone read. He had a great 4th down pickup against the Bears, reading that defensive end, knowing when to give it, knowing when to pull it, had a 22-yard touchdown run against the Ravens as well. When you have a quarterback that's 2-dimensional like that, you guys know puts a lot of pressure on your defense, especially in 3rd down situations when everyone's covered, you lose sight of the quarterback, and he can take off and run. So I absolutely think Malik Willis deserves an opportunity to be a starter in this league. I think he would be, because of his trajectory right now, and obviously Tua with the injuries and everything, an upgrade from Tua, but without a huge sample size. I don't know how much of an upgrade it would be. One more thing to note that I think would be important and why he would work out with the Dolphins is now their offensive coordinator is Bobby Slowick, who comes from that Shanahan coaching tree. So it would be an easy transition for Malik Willis to go from LaFleur to Slowick, run the same type of scheme. Obviously, they mixed it up a little bit and put their own DNA on it. But either way, it would be easy for him to hit the ground running in OTAs in the offseason. It's just, are the Dolphins going to make a run for him? Because I do think they're going to be done with Tua Tagovailoa and move on from him. But yeah, there's a lot to like there for Malik Willis. Again, it's just a small sample size, but he has a high ceiling and a lot of upside.
Hey, well, how many starts you said Malik Willis had?
Yeah, 6.
And 2 last year, right?
Yeah, 2 last year, 1 year, and then 3 as a rookie.
Hey, I just can't say it's going to be a super upgrade, man. Yeah. I just really can't say it, because if we talking about sitting in that pocket throwing that ball, he may have more arm strength than Tua, but bro, he's not going to be as accurate as Tua. Like, we seen what Tua can do. You know what I'm saying? We seen Tua go to the playoffs with his guys when he was healthy. So I really can't say he's going to be an upgrade as far as throwing the ball around. I just can't say that. We're talking about 76 starts and 6 starts. So I can't say that. He will be an upgrade with what he brings to the table with his legs. I mean, we saw him be the leading rusher in his 2 starts last year, or whatever, however many starts last year. He led the team in rushing in 2 of them. But is that what I really want from my quarterback? I ain't really looking for that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. He lost 2 of those games. The game you talk about against the Bears, did he win it?
No.
The game you talk about against the Ravens, did he win it?
He played well in those games, though.
He win it, Cody.
No, but the Bears game, you can't act like there wasn't an onside kick and then a touchdown and a
upgrade. I'm talking about a guy who came in, started 3 games, was 3-0, threw the ball. Like, I don't really, you feel me? You came in, you played well because we didn't think you was gonna play that well, but you still ain't win the games. You ain't win those games. You ain't take over and send us to the playoffs on this uproar. Like, no, they went into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak on your behalf. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really say it's going to be too much of an upgrade. I think he is playing better. He is ascending from where he was his rookie year. He do bring a lot to the table with his legs, man. But, hey, man, it's if Tua ain't had that injury problem, you don't have to worry about tailoring a game plan not to get my quarterback hit. You could just run your shit, because you got to tailor a game plan. If I'm like, oh, shit, Tua might get – I can't do this. Like, you got to really worry about Tua getting hit. So you got to tailor that game plan really, really to him not getting hit. I mean, you don't want none of your quarterbacks to get hit, but still, you got to really worry about that shit with Tua. So if he ain't had that injury problem, bro, I would say it's not going to be an upgrade. But he got that injury problem, man, so I can't see it being that much of an upgrade right now.
Go ahead, Skip.
You want me to go, TJ?
Yeah, sure.
So, Akib, as you well know, Jeff Halfley, who you played under for a while, is the new head coach in Miami. And with him went John Eric Sullivan to be the new GM in Miami from Green Bay. So nobody's going to know Malik Willis better than those 2.
Yep.
And I've just never been a Tua fan, and I was on the record before his draft. I think he had 5 different surgeries at Alabama before he got drafted, and hurt in college, hurt in pro football. And your arm is so below average. I know you can throw accurate balls, but it's just hard to overcome that soft of an arm. And obviously Mike McDaniel did for a little while, and they had some success. But to Cody's points, I watched Malik Willis a little bit when he was at Tennessee as a 3rd-round pick out of Liberty, and I would just flip on and off, and he was horrible because they were horrible.
Yeah.
And he was no touchdowns to 3 interceptions and 3 starts and went 1-2. And then last year, every time I watched him, and the one game that I watched from start to finish was the Baltimore game at Green Bay late in the year on the Saturday evening. And I got to tell you, Malik Willis was really, really good. I mean, really good. Where I always hang on to Akib's favorite stat, which is QBR. He just forces it down my throat every show that we ever do. It's just QBR, QBR, QBR. And if you look at Malik Willis in the 3 games he started for Green Bay last year, his QBRs were 85, 93, and then in the loss to Baltimore, 94. And that was when Tyler Huntley went crazy as his opposing quarterback. We had the two backups playing against each other. But in that game against the Ravens, Malik went 18 of 21 for 288, a touchdown, no picks, ran 9 times for 60 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I know it's small,
lost 41
and they lost
24.
41 to 24 as they lost. They did. Okay. I got it. And you're right. But I know it's a small sample size, but every time I watched him last year, he looked legit to me. He looked like he would be an upgrade, maybe not a huge, but an upgrade over Tua. And, you know, he's listed at 6'1", 225. And I never thought he was that big. He doesn't seem to play that big, but if you're 225, you got some stature to you. And to Cody's point, when he did run the read option, he looked like, because I think he ran it at Liberty quite a bit. I think he can do that. And I think they could exploit that more. And he is easily, you know, if Daniel Jones stays at Indy, which I assume he will, then if you want a quarterback, this is it. You know, this is this is the best option on the market, and they should know. But I think they should try that. The problem is Cody knows full well, you know, if you cut Tua before June 1st, it would be a record cap hit of $100 million in dead cap money.
Yep.
And if you wait until after, it's still 50 million if you spread it out 50 and 50. But then if you trade him, it's still 50 million. They screwed up, man. They screwed themselves. They did. And you know, like Cody said also about Howie would just say, "I'll just eat it and start over." And I think with Jeff Hafley, they're just going to have to start over and say, let's try this. Is Malik Willis, you know, can he be the next Sam Darnold? I don't know. I don't have enough sample size yet for that. But
he went toe to toe with the Bears.
Yeah,
toe to toe with the Bears and lost in overtime, threw for 121.
The backup quarterback coming in with flashes of greatness,
bro.
Yeah. The sample size is small. When teams start really preparing for these backups and knowing their, you know, habits, then all that breaks down a lot of times. And you don't want to give a backup all the time big money, and then now you really got to start all over. I say they keep Tua for one more year. Like I said a long time ago, I think he's top half of the league quarterback. You know, he lost his number 1 last year, but barring catastrophic injury with them head issues, I think you bring back Tua on top of that cap space you talking about, man. That's a lot of money, $100 million. God, dog.
A lot of money.
So give it one more chance, and then if it doesn't work, now we're looking for a real fresh start with a quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
And we can start completely over. But you don't want to be in the Texan situations with a Brock Osweiler. No offense. He got us through what we needed him to get us through.
Yeah.
When it was time for him to take over a franchise, the ability just wasn't there. So I'm wary of that personally.
Yeah. And I'm not a big Quinn Ewers guy. When he was at Texas, he never scared me rooting for Oklahoma. I don't know what you think, Cody, of Quinn Ewers. Do you think he's got a future?
Ain't he 30 already?
I watched him in Texas. I liked him in Sark's offense. I thought he showed a lot of flashes. It's still the same thing with Malik Willis in the NFL. It's just too small of a sample size, and you threw him in there when the team had pretty much checked out for the season. So you've got
that's true.
Real meaningful football to have a full, you know, idea of who he can be, and then, you know, give him an offseason as a starter. But I don't think it's a bad idea to bring in Malik and have him compete with guys like Quinn and see who the guy that can. I mean, it's not a bad problem to have multiple quarterbacks that can compete and then pick your guy. And going back to, you know, trading Tua and having all that money you're going to lose. The Broncos right now hold the current record, which I think was $85 million when they got rid of Russell Wilson. And they were just one game away from the Super Bowl. So teams can still overcome that. Now, I know $100 million is a lot of money, and if you wait,
we got the richest owners in the league.
You still spread it out, but no. I mean, like I said, I don't know if he's the answer. It's a small sample size, but there is a lot of upside, and I think he could develop into being a starting quarterback in this league for sure.
I do too.
Hey, before we get up out of here, Bub, way to step up, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, way to go, TJ. I was impressed.
Party and all this, man. Bub got to step up. Hey, Way to step up, baby, for real.
Yeah, I mean, you're not Kinsey, but you're close.
No, I'm not Kinsey.
Yeah.
Hey, Kinsey.
Yeah. Hey,
hurry back.
we missed you, Kinsey. We missed you. Hurry back.
Right now. Nah,
Yeah.
that'll do it for another episode of Gridiron presented by Underdog. We will see you on Monday.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.